I don't typically put this stuff out for sale in the shop, but if someone come in and said, hey, I'm looking for a, LeBron James autograph.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Paladin's house. I'm a card collector, and we are here right now in Baseline Sports Cards. I'm here with the owner, Ryan Frank. Ryan, what's up, man?
Hey, how's it going, dude?
This store is almost a decade old, or more than a decade, but you came here 2017. Could you give us a quick story on how you decided to take over the store?
Store's been here since 2010. I was a customer here starting in 2011, so I came in and bought my boxes and supplies for years. The previous owners asked me in 2017 if I'd like to become an owner and help out, make the store better. So that's what we did. Over the next year of me being part owner, kind of remodeled the store, brought in new inventory, just kind of refreshed the place, made it a little bit better a little bit at a time.
Could you share us some of your earlier days? When did you start collecting cards? When did you start to realize that there is money in this hobby?
Mm-hmm.
And
I've always been a card collector since I was a little kid, since the 1980s, and I've collected all the way through probably high school, and I stopped for a little while. I was interested in other things, cars and girls and things like that. So
everyone is.
I took a brief period of time where I wasn't collecting and picked it back up probably, when I was like 25 years old, and noticed how cards are much different than when I was a kid. Autographs, memorabilia, everything like that. So I was just purely collecting for many years, like since the time I was 25 through, 32, 33, when I really started seeing, more potential in just buying to collect. Because if you collect certain players and not invest in certain players, your collection may have a lot of money into it, but it may not be worth a lot one day.
And one of the reasons why I went back into card collecting is that I realized when I was in high school, it's so easy to get cards, but there is no internet, there is no community that you could trade with unless you go to the actual shop. And now that there is Facebook, you can already interact and find the card you want, your chase card specifically. If you could share with us, man, like, who's your favorite player that you collected in the beginning?
Michael Jordan.
MJ.
Always.
Were you able to get his rookie card when you were still studying?
No way. No.
Right?
As a kid, even back then in like the 90s, a Michael Jordan rookie card was still a very expensive card for a kid that had a little budget. Maybe I had $10 or $20 a month or something to spend on cards. That Jordan rookie card was still hundreds of dollars.
What was the means of you getting money in order to buy or fund your hobby? Because I'm sure it's going to be hard to ask money from your parents all the time. Do you have to do some chores or
well, that's
whatnot?
the thing. As a young kid, before I was able to work, it was pretty much do chores, do housework for my parents, and get a little bit every week, a little bit of an allowance. And that few dollars came hard, man. A lot of yard work and cleaning the house and just earning it, up until I was able to get a job. But I was able to take the cards I didn't want as a kid, because as a kid all I did was open packs.
For sure.
Buy as many packs as I possibly could. But also, sold cards, the ones I didn't want, so I could buy the cards I want, which is, the modern day flipping, I guess you can call it.
Who's that first player that you bought for the sake of investing? Like, it's not an MJ that you would want to keep for yourself, but it's a card that, hey, I could sell this for more if I pull it in the pack.
Unintentionally, Michael Jordan turned out to be a great investment. Not thinking the cards would be worth a lot, but a lot of those cards I bought over the years, I still have and didn't sell. So, as much as they are as investments, they're not something I'm looking to sell either. But usually, vintage baseball cards is something I got into, and buying certain cards of like Mickey Mantle, Willie Mays, Hank Aaron, like the best Hall of Famers there are from the 1950s and 1960s. The highest graded possible rookie cards is what I started getting into about 4 or 5 years ago, before the big boom. I always thought that those cards would be worth a lot more money someday. Well, it ended up happening a lot sooner than I thought. So about 18 months ago, when COVID hit and the card industry exploded, a lot of those cards started gaining value very rapidly.
Were you surprised that there was a boom in cards during the COVID era? Because like everybody's at home, I'm sure like people would rather choose to use their money for like their expenses for daily living, because they most have no jobs or aren't working that time. Yet everybody suddenly bought cards, because like before that, like sneakers are a big thing, but when COVID happened, now everybody's buying sneakers because you can't wear them. But then you see these cards, man, everybody's getting them now.
I think what ended up happening when everybody was stuck in their homes for quarantine, they started cleaning everything in their house. And they started pulling things out of the closet, from under the bed, out of the attic. And now all the people that collected cards now found their cards again that may have not seen them for years. And I think that love of the hobby reignited. And now they went on the internet to go look, hey, what are my cards worth? And now they found, all these breakers and all these things going on that they had no idea was happening. So you get people joining, online breaks for cards. They're on eBay buying cards now. And I think that's all that interest came back all of a sudden for everybody.
Yeah, in the Philippines as well, like case breaks, box breaks are a big thing. And I'd love to talk about that baseline magic in a few moments, but I see you brought your box and your collection. Everybody would like to see them, so
sure.
Let's see what's
so I
inside.
brought some examples of some rare and some higher end cards, a little bit of modern, and a few old ones too.
So are these cards for sale in the store, or are these your personal stuff?
Some of these are not for sale. Some of them would be for sale at like card shows. I don't typically put this stuff out for sale in the shop, but if someone come in and said, hey, I'm looking for a LeBron James autograph,
damn,
something like that, I'd say, okay, well, sure, I have one. And usually for the high end cards, I'd make an appointment with them for them to come back at a later time.
Funny thing that you said that, man. Like, I was here during the last trade night. They say you are the hitman of sports cards. If they need to find something, you're the man they go to. So what was that one card that was so hard for you to find just to be able to sell to a customer? From the top of your head.
To sell to a customer, I usually get that right pretty well. So that'd be a bad example for me to give because I don't have one. But I can tell you the hardest card for me to find for myself was a 1951 Bowman Willie Mays rookie card that was graded and centered very well. It took me over 3 years to find a card that was visually eye-appealing, like very nice, that didn't look like garbage. But that was like the main card that took me the longest to find.
If you could show us some of your other cards.
All right, so here's another one. This was actually a redemption in 2018 in Panini Chronicles. This is a Luka Doncic RPA out of 25, graded by PSA. This card, probably when it was released and sold, was around $1,500. This card today is probably at least 10 times that value or more.
Damn, so beautiful. Now, you're an expert in sports cards and signatures. There is this rumor that Luka's other signature is done by his mom. Could you share your thoughts regarding that?
I think there's a lot of rumors and things like that going on, but it's not something I don't believe has been proven. A similar thing happened when LaMelo Ball started signing cards. They thought Miles Bridges' autographs were used. I think their names are so similar they may have just looked the same. I really hope Luka's mom didn't sign these cards because that would probably greatly devalue some of his stuff. So let's hope it's not true.
And I also hope that Luka won't admit it if it's indeed true. Like you said, 10 times more than you bought that, right?
Sure.
If you could show us the other cards, man.
Trae Young.
Oh.
NT-RPA. This is the horizontal RPA, numbered out of 49. It's not worth as much as the vertical, numbered out of 99. But this is still a very nice card.
Yeah, a big question for people who are collecting cards. Is there a difference between like a horizontal and a vertical graded card? Would the horizontal be less than a vertical because it would be less eye appealing or whatnot?
Typically in higher end sets like Immaculate, National Treasures, and Flaws, there's going to be one set that people consider to be the true rookie patch auto. In National Treasures, it's the vertical version. Even though they do make other, subsets and variations, the true RPA in each set is usually worth the most.
Is there a card in your collection right now that you actually pulled and have graded?
Tons. I don't know if they have one in this box, but I can check for you real quick.
So yeah, while you're checking, the reason I asked that is because there's this thing going on online, that baseline magic, and I was looking at your IG stories during Black Friday, and I've been seeing crazy pulls.
The baseline magic is a very, very true thing. When customers tend to rip their boxes in the store, they tend to get really good cards. That baseline magic, Nick will talk about a little bit more later in the segment.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'll save that for him. But back to your other question about a card that was pulled here in the store. This card was actually pulled by a customer. It's a 2012-13, is it Elite? Yeah, any Elite. This is the Anthony Davis Black 1/1 rookie.
1/1.
So this was pulled here in the store out of a $200 box. It being a die cut, they're kind of hard to grade. It got a 9, but being a 1/1 and being a rookie Anthony Davis, it's a pretty high value card. It's probably hard to put a price on something like this. This is something that will probably be sold one day, but not right now. But this is more of a card that I would send to like an auction house, like Golden Auctions or something.
For sure.
If Anthony Davis tends to, wins more rings, if he's a Hall of Famer later in his career, that's the kind of card I'd say, okay, maybe it's time to sell it. Right now, not the time to sell.
What do you think of the Lakers right now? Should you buy more cards for them, or should you just hold or sell?
Selling right now, especially LeBron cards, him being at an all-time kind of low, I think people are buying the rookies. If you have enough financial means to buy and hold for long term, I think his rookie stuff's probably a great price right now compared to where it was the season where they won the ring. I wouldn't say not to buy, but like if you're looking for a quick clip, I think it would be harder.
And it's not a quick flip.
Yeah, especially, I think LeBron's seen his best days already as a player, and it doesn't seem like he's holding up too well.
So I see something in the box that a lot of Filipinos would probably want. It's the Michael Jordan rookie card.
Yeah, so this one we acquired earlier this year. This is a PSA 9.
PSA 9. Damn.
This card was also recently reviewed by Mike Baker. Mike Baker reviews cards for top quality, and this actually received a gold diamond level through his company. If you're looking for top quality graded cards, I recommend searching out Mike Baker reviewed cards.
Were you able to get that card before the boom or after the boom?
I bought it after they boomed, because this card at one point reached almost $100,000 in value based on some sales, but those values quickly came down.
I'm sure you won't sell that, because
this isn't something I'd be looking to sell anytime soon.
Exactly.
I bought it. I bought it, not too long ago, so the price has already settled down compared to what they were earlier this year.
But you mentioned you're a Jordan fan. That's the beauty of the hobby, right? There are some cards that would be more of value to me than it is to you, and I'm sure that regardless of how much the comps would be on that one, you'd still see it as the price you bought it with.
Yeah, that's not. It's one of those cards where it's like, it's worth a lot, and I paid a lot, and even if it goes down more or goes up more, I don't really look at it as like, oh, it's worth this much. It's more or less of, that's the best Jordan card that I own, and I probably wouldn't.
That's the best Jordan card I saw. I usually see a 5 or a 6 of that.
Yeah, these don't pop up too often. So like when I had the chance to upgrade from the 8 that I had, so you kind of jump on it when.
So I see another Jordan card also there.
So we got a couple, a handful. So I brought some of the more rare inserts. So we have the takeit2.net, which are numbered to 1,000, and then the Championship Galaxy. These are extremely hard cards to find at high grade now. It's almost impossible to find them as 10s. There's so very little of them in existence. These are cards that are not easily replaced, but I'll throw them in my case at card shows to see if somebody is looking for one, because these are not cards you see every day.
And speaking of like cards that you do not see every day, are you very happy that you're in Chicago, wherein Michael Jordan and the Bulls are the top selling cards? Because I'm sure, I always say, like, if you're in LA, probably LeBron would sell more, Giannis would sell more in Milwaukee. Are you happy being in Chicago selling Jordan cards?
Yeah, I mean, being a lifelong Jordan fan and having the card shop makes it kind of nice, because there's more local people that have Bulls collections from over the years. So sometimes people are ready to sell some cards. They walk in with some nice Jordans. You may not see that in any other cities. So,
and they don't care about comps here. When it comes to Bulls cards, I can see like there's a Jordan card for $30 on eBay, but people would be more than happy to pay double of that here.
I mean, it depends what it is. Like, especially in the card shop, like most, if not everything we sell is going to be based upon like a historical value. So when I go and price cards, I always check eBay and make sure that I'm not, I don't want someone paying too much for something that, they can go buy on eBay any minute of the day. So if you see a card on, eBay for $30, and that same card is probably going to be pretty close to 30 in the showcase here.
And what they don't understand is that buying on eBay would have extra charges, like there'll be service fee, shipping fee, and all that.
Yeah, now that people have to pay tax on eBay, so you're looking at, if you buy a $100 card, you're paying probably another $15 just in tax and shipping.
I learned that firsthand, but I see you have another goat in your collection. This goat keeps on giving.
So we got, let me see, here I actually got a few. So we got Kobe here. We have the Court Masters Kobe, and then that's Jam Kobe in a PSA 10. So another couple cards you don't see every day. I'm not the biggest Kobe fan, but I respect the guy, and he's got some of the coolest cards out there. So I definitely have to have some in the collection as well.
I think that's a good thing for you, because it's not going to be hard to sell them when someone offers you something, right?
Sure. Here, I'll give you a little taste of some vintage. Here is who I believe is the true GOAT, Wilt Chamberlain. This is his rookie card. I think it's a PSA 5, so not the best grade, but still a pretty nice one.
I could see some of those on like online. I wouldn't see it as beautiful as that, because usually you would see it's weathered or stuff like that.
Right.
Where did you find this card?
This actually came out of a original collection by an older gentleman that had a almost complete set.
When you're buying cards from your customers or from someone who would walk in, do you like take a look at the cards regardless of its condition? Because I would assume, like, some people, like you said, they were in boxes at your basement, and probably some would be weathered. Do you take that into consideration when it comes to vintage cards?
Of course. With vintage, and I mean lots of cards, if all cards, condition means everything. Probably more particularly with vintage, because they have a little bit more let's say physical characteristics than modern cards. Modern cards are shiny and they all look the same. Vintage cards a lot of times can be off-center. The print is a little different on all of them, so you have to be a little bit more careful looking at vintage. Also, because some of the cards that are really good are counterfeit.
I agree with that. You got the three GOATs already. You showed LeBron, you showed Jordan and Kobe, and of course the one you consider
I'll show you one more Jordan. This is the Upper Deck Black autograph. This is numbered out of 15. This particular card is the highest graded by PSA. There's none graded higher than this from this particular set.
If you get a chance to buy a Jordan auto, would you do it? Because like I know Upper Deck has the rights on his autograph signature, and Panini wouldn't be able to release some.
Right. Yeah. Upper Deck's the only company authorized to put his signature out on trading cards. I would buy one as long as the price is right, and that goes for pretty much every card. I'd be a buyer on anything as long as it's not as long as it's a good deal.
For sure. What was one of the best deals you've made that's in that box?
In this box, I wouldn't say I made any outstanding deals, but I mean a lot of these cards I bought over the years, especially good cards like this, like the Magic and Larry Bird rookie card in high grade. You typically aren't going to get hurt on these cards as long as you don't overpay. So I want to say I'm probably into this card for, I don't know, maybe around $5,000 or $6,000. It's probably worth a little bit more than that. So as long as you're buying correctly and you're buying the right cards, you're usually not going to get hurt on your purchases.
Exactly. And what I notice about you and Nick is you love to modernize your cards. Like if you have like a card that's in an old PSA slab, you crack it, send it again so that it would be in the new one with a barcode at the back.
Mm-hmm. Well, a lot of times you don't have to crack it. You can just send it the way it is and pay the reholder fee, which is,
okay.
I
guess others would crack it just for the hope for a higher grade.
Well, you can do that if you're regrading it, sure. I don't tend to crack holders and send them back in if they're ready, I think, the best grade possible. I have cracked other competing graded cards and sent them in because I don't know if you send a Becca card into PSA the way it is, if they're going to want to give it a higher grade. Typically, you're not going to get a higher.
Will there be a $10 PSA card?
I've heard that PSA wants to get down to a more economical service one day. It's probably not going to happen anytime soon, but I think over the next few months, we're definitely going to see them come down from the $150 price tag on express service. I think we'll probably see $100 service very soon.
What are your thoughts about the SGC, CSG, HGA cards?
Personally, I don't submit to them. From what I see in the card market at card shows and things like that, a lot of people are not buying those slabs. Not to say that they're bad. I think they're new and they need to probably be in the industry for quite a while before they gain a bigger collector base. But personally, I'm more of a PSA guy.
If someone sells you an SGC card, would you consider buying it?
Depends what the card is. I have bought cards that are in holders other than PSA, but it really depends on the card. Typically, the most recent purchases I made have been some SGC holder cards, but they've all been vintage, no modern.
Exactly, because that's what they are saying when it comes to vintage. It's so hard, like you said, it's so easy to fake these cards, and SGC is the fastest way. Because if you have a Rodman card or a Pippen card, you wouldn't spend that premium of PSA or BGS to be able to sell it. So an SGC is a good starting point just to make sure that it's legit.
Yeah, I mean, if you just have some minor cards, when I say minor cards, not stuff that isn't really worth crazy money, and you want to get them in slabs and you want to resell them, I mean, it's more economical to use some of these other companies right now because they're a lot cheaper than PSA. So if your goal is just to get these things slabbed and go for gems and just resell them, I know a lot of people do that, but I believe the resale on some of these slabs, grade for grade, like a SGC 10 and a PSA 10, same card. Pretty sure the SGC card doesn't sell as much as the PSA.
Yeah.
And that's a big reason why I don't invest any of my money into grading cards with other companies. I rather just sit on the ones that I want to grade until the rates come down a little bit and then send them in. If you have cards that are say, raw $500 in value and above, and they have a good chance of getting gems, pay the $150.
For sure.
Especially if you're going to try to resell the card.
If it's a one of one, you can do that, right?
That's what I'm saying. It's $150 is just something you have to build into your, cost of doing business. So if you're into a card you pulled out of a, $20 pack and it's worth $500 and you have to throw $150 at it to, increase the value even more if it's a gem, well, why wouldn't you?
For sure. Now, let's check some of the other cards.
Got a couple LeBrons here. I'm not the biggest LeBron fan, but I have them in the inventory just in case anyone's looking. We got I believe it's a second or third year. Yeah, it's a third year Topps Finest red refractor, and then we have a Topps Chrome refractor as well. So these are pretty nice.
Now, you said you're not a LeBron fan, so I mean,
not too much, no.
if the GOAT conversation comes in, who's the name that you're gonna bring out? I mean, you said Wilt. But
if I had to go in order, it's gonna probably be Wilt Chamberlain, then Michael Jordan. After that, it doesn't matter to me. It's only number one and number two.
For sure.
All the rest just fall in line, man. I don't make lists.
The Bulls are doing really well right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what are your thoughts about investing in Zach Levine cards, Lonzo cards, DeMar cards? Is it a good investment to do right now, or do you feel because they're doing well, their prices are too high?
Without looking, I could probably say that Levine, DeMar, DeRozan cards probably are at their highest they've ever been, especially like rookies, because everybody went and probably started buying them. If you were buying those cards before the season started, they probably went a lot cheaper, especially DeMar DeRozan, because he was kind of a bum for a while.
Right.
Wasn't a big fan, still not the biggest fan, but he seems like he's doing good things. So this is how you can tell an NBA player is actually happy with the team that they're on, because the time that DeMar was on the Spurs, he obviously wasn't putting this kind of effort into his game.
Yeah, for sure.
So to me, that tells me, like, as a player, that's not a guy I want to invest in, because as soon as he gets unhappy with the Bulls, then he's not going to try hard. If you're not trying hard, your cards aren't going to go up.
Yeah. Now I see a Kobe card, Metal Universe. That's one of my favorite packs. They look so great.
So here is another pretty hard card to come across, is the Metal Universe linchpins. You don't hardly ever see these. They pop up on eBay once in a while, but like at a card show, you hardly ever see these either. Not real flashy, but the cool part about it is it's like laser cut. So it's filled with linchpins, little holes throughout the card.
That's the beauty about being in the card shop. You get to see the card in person, because like eBay could do their best with scanning and all, but the beauty is so different when you see it in person.
Yeah, I would recommend for anybody that's buying high-end cards, especially slabs, see if you can buy them in person first before buying them on eBay, because if the stuff comes in the mail and it's not what you thought it was, you can always return it. The return process should be pretty easy through eBay, just because if it's an item not as described, you can send it back and get your money. But it's easier to look at it in person and make the purchase, so then you know you're 100% happy with it before you buy it. So if you absolutely have to buy it on eBay because you can't find anywhere else, then go for it. But I always try to buy in person first.
Before we pull off that last card in your collection, you mentioned that DeMar isn't someone you would invest in. For the people watching right now who doesn't have that much money, like they have a $20 budget, who is a player that they could invest in right now?
I wouldn't invest in anybody on the Bulls.
How about like in general?
I think the time right now in the industry, a lot of cards are down for where they've been earlier this year. Especially guys like Luka and Trae Young. I'm a big believer in Luka, and I think you could probably pick up some economically friendly rookie cards if you're looking hard enough. Luka, probably not graded, but probably some nice raw cards out there you could buy. And that's more of like a long-term hold thing too, where put a little money in Luka rookie cards and just sit down and put them away. They'll be worth more one day.
Well, there are some Luka Doncic rookie cards back there, and also some Trae Youngs. I can see that their prices went down from last year, but you are right. Another hard-hitting question, man. Zion Williamson. What are your thoughts about him?
It's not looking good for Zion, from my perspective. They keep saying he's going to come back. Personally, I wouldn't be putting any money in the Zion cards right now until he actually comes back and plays. For those risk takers out there, they can probably find some great deals on Zion right now because people are dumping, and his values, I think, are probably way down. But personally, I wouldn't do it. I tend to invest more in for sure things. So if I were to throw any serious money at cards, I'd be looking for, Hall of Famers, rookies, rare cards, stuff you don't see every day. Because a lot of the money in the industry, as people come into the hobby and get smarter, they see that the more rare cards are more desirable, and those tend to go up more in value, month after month. Not to say like Prism rookie cards are terrible, but I think they peaked out way too fast, and people want to say that like base Prism is no good. Well, that's not true. They're still good cards. I think they were probably overvalued for a while, and I think those cards have settled down. But what's going to happen is, as these players grow and get better and win championships, their cards are going to grow, and those Prisms that everybody didn't want this year, they'll want later.
Now you have one more card in the inventory, man.
There's one more here. One of the coolest Michael Jordan inserts is the Net Assets. This is like a completely laser cut card. If you can see the detail on the back, you can actually look, and it almost looks like parts of the card were burned, because in order to create the card, they have to basically cut it with lasers technology, so it's almost like burning the paper.
That's hard to grade as a 9 for sure.
These are some of the hardest cards to get graded, so one day if I find a 10, I'll definitely try to make a move on it.
Now, you mentioned that Zion's going down. Is there another player that you invested on that didn't end up well?
De'Aaron Fox is not having the best season right now. He had COVID at the last month of last season when he was playing really, really well. I think he's a great player, but for some reason he's not playing at the level he was. So I did have some pretty nice De'Aaron Fox cards, which I still have, and I still think he's going to come back once he straightens his game out, but not all is lost for him yet.
The cool thing about your shop is every month you have trade nights so card collectors can come together, make deals. I mean, when's the next one?
Next trade night's going to be on December 18th, so it's a Saturday night. We close the shop at 5 for our regular business hours, but we stay open till 9, 10 o'clock. A lot of the regulars come in, they bring in their cards, they trade amongst each other. We have pizza and drinks, so it's a pretty fun time.
This is the time to promote your shop, man, so the floor is yours.
Well, if you're in the Chicagoland area, stop by Baseline Sports Cards. We're here in Schaumburg, less than 10 minutes from Woodfield Mall. So we have some of the best prices and some of the best inventory. As you can see behind me, we have a great selection of new products. We carry all the hobby products for all sports and all the new Pokemon releases too. So behind you can't see it, but we also are fully stocked with all the card supplies you'll ever need.
Thank you so much, Ryan.
Yeah, man.
See you on trade night.
Perfect. Thanks.
All right.